The decision stunned players, coaches, and tennis fans across the world. Only days after lifting the Birmingham Open trophy and completing the biggest grass court run of her career, Eala made a choice that immediately became the most controversial story in women's tennis. The 21-year-old Filipina star had momentum, confidence, and international attention on her side. Her ranking was climbing. Her name was appearing in headlines across Europe and Asia. Wimbledon was approaching. Everything seemed to be moving in the right direction. Then she walked away from one of the most important tournaments of the grass court season. The HSBC Championship at London's historic Queen's Club was not a minor event players could casually skip. It offered a prize fund worth more than $1.2 million, valuable ranking points, global television exposure, and a chance to measure yourself against many of the best players in the world before Wimbledon. For most athletes, participation would have been automatic. The opportunity was simply too important. Yet Eala chose a different path. The reaction was immediate. Tennis commentators questioned the decision. Former players debated it on television. Social media exploded with opinions. Supporters praised her courage. Critics called it reckless. Some believed she was protecting her body for a bigger goal. Others argued she was risking valuable momentum at the worst possible time. What made the situation even more dramatic was the timing. Just weeks earlier, there were serious questions surrounding her fitness and readiness for a demanding grass court schedule. Some experts doubted she could handle multiple deep tournament runs in consecutive weeks. Others believed her breakthrough success would eventually catch up with her physically. Instead, Birmingham changed the conversation. Match after match, Eala showed remarkable resilience. She survived difficult opponents, weather delays, and pressure-packed moments. She displayed improved movement, stronger serving, and greater emotional control. By the time she lifted the trophy, many analysts were calling her one of the most dangerous young players entering Wimbledon. That success made her withdrawal from Queen's Club even harder for many people to understand. Why step away now? Why leave ranking points on the table? Why risk criticism after building so much momentum? Inside tennis circles, another perspective began to emerge. Veteran coaches pointed out that modern professional tennis has become a battle of scheduling as much as talent. Players compete nearly year-round. Travel is exhausting. Recovery windows are short. One wrong decision can affect performance for weeks. The smartest athletes often think months ahead rather than one tournament ahead. From that viewpoint, Eala's choice looked less emotional and more strategic. The grass season is short. Wimbledon is everything. A strong performance that can transform an entire career. Prize money increases dramatically. Ranking points multiply. Sponsorship opportunities expand. Media attention reaches another level. One successful Wimbledon run can achieve more than several smaller tournament appearances combined. That reality fueled speculation that Eala and her team were prioritizing the bigger picture. Still, not everyone agreed. Critics argued that elite athletes cannot simply choose which obligations matter most. Tournaments invest enormous resources attracting top players. Fans purchase tickets expecting to see stars compete. Sponsors help fund events based on participation from recognizable names. Those critics believed withdrawing sent the wrong message. Supporters responded with a different argument. They pointed to the physical demands Eala had already endured. Birmingham was not an easy title run. It required multiple high-intensity matches, emotional pressure, and long days at the venue. Every extra match carried risk. Every additional hour on court increased the possibility of injury. For a player preparing for the biggest tournament of her life, preservation could be just as important as competition. As debate continued, one fact remained undeniable. The decision transformed Eala into one of the most discussed figures in tennis. Before Birmingham, she was viewed as a promising rising player. After Birmingham and the Queen's Club controversy, she became a global story. Every training session attracted attention. Every public appearance generated headlines. Every update from her team became news. The spotlight grew larger than ever before. What impressed many observers most was her response. She did not spend days defending herself. She did not engage in public arguments. She did not attack critics. Instead, she continued preparing, continued training, continued focusing on Wimbledon. That approach reflected a maturity that many veterans spend years developing. Because ultimately, professional sports are not decided by headlines. They are decided by results. The true verdict on Eala's decision would not come from television debates or social media comments. It would come when she stepped onto the grass courts of Wimbledon. If she succeeded, Many would view her choice as brilliant planning. If she struggled, critics would point to the missed opportunity at Queen's Club. That is the reality facing every athlete who dares to make an unconventional decision. For Eala, the risk was enormous, but so was the potential reward. And as the tennis world continued arguing over whether she was bold, stubborn, strategic, or reckless, one thing became increasingly clear. The young Filipina was no longer following the script others had written for her. She was writing her own. For Eala, the HSBC Championship was supposed to be the next step in a breakthrough season. The Birmingham title had changed everything. Her ranking was rising. Her confidence was soaring. Her name was appearing alongside some of the biggest stars in women's tennis. Grass courts, once viewed as a challenge, had suddenly become her strongest surface. The momentum was undeniable. That is why what happened next shocked the entire tennis community. Queen's Club represented more than another tournament. It was one of the most prestigious stops of a grass court season, a historic venue that has welcomed champions for generations. The event offered elite competition, major ranking opportunities, and a chance for players to sharpen their games before Wimbledon. Success there often serves as a preview of who might make a deep run at the sport's most famous tournament. For Eala, the opportunity seemed perfect. She had just proven she could win on grass. She had captured a title against a strong field. She had demonstrated resilience under pressure. And perhaps most importantly, she had become one of the hottest players on tour. Analysts expected her to arrive in London full of momentum. Tennis publications highlighted her as a potential dark horse. Fans circled her matches on their calendars. Broadcasters prepared feature stories about her remarkable rise. The excitement stretched far beyond the tennis world. Filipino communities across the United Kingdom were preparing for another week of support. Families discussed travel plans. Supporters organized group trips. Social media pages filled with countdown posts. Overseas Filipino workers living throughout Europe began sharing information about tickets and accommodations. Many believed Queen's Club would become another showcase for what had become known as the Eala effect. Wherever she played, crowds followed. Wherever she competed, attention increased. Tournament organizers welcomed that reality. Attendance numbers had surged during her recent events. Online engagement exploded whenever her name appeared in a draw. Television audiences expanded. Sponsors noticed. Media outlets noticed. The sport itself benefited from her growing popularity. Everything appeared to be moving toward a memorable week in London. Then something unexpected happened. The official entry lists were updated. Fans checked the draw expecting to see Eala's name among the featured competitors. Instead, it was gone. No dramatic announcement. No immediate explanation. No advance warning. Just an updated list and a wave of confusion spreading throughout the tennis world. Within hours, speculation exploded. Reporters began making calls. Fans searched for answers. Tennis analysts tried to understand what had changed. Some feared an injury. Others suspected exhaustion following her demanding run in Birmingham. A few wondered whether scheduling concerns had influenced the decision. No one seemed certain. That uncertainty fueled even more discussion. The timing made the story impossible to ignore. Athletes rarely withdraw from major grass court events immediately after winning a title on the same surface. The logic appeared contradictory. Most players use success as momentum. They compete again, chase additional points, and continue building confidence. Eala's absence raised questions because it challenged conventional thinking. Why walk away when everything was going right? Why leave a tournament that seemed tailor-made for her current form? Why step aside when the spotlight had never been brighter? As debates intensified, one reality became clear. Her career had reached a new level. Only a few months earlier, a tournament withdrawal might have generated a brief mention in tennis news. Now it dominated conversations across sports media. Every decision carried greater significance because expectations surrounding her had grown dramatically. That growth reflected how quickly her profile had expanded. She was no longer viewed simply as a promising young talent from the Philippines. She had become a genuine contender, a player capable of drawing crowds, a player capable of winning titles, a player capable of influencing conversations throughout the sport. The sudden disappearance of her name from the draw became a symbol of that transformation. People cared because she mattered. They wanted answers because they believed her presence could change the tournament itself. Even veteran observers admitted the reaction was unusual for a player still early in her professional career. Yet Eala's rise had never followed a traditional path. Every milestone seemed larger than expected. Every breakthrough attracted more attention than the last. Queen's Club became another chapter in that story. Not because she played there, because she didn't. And as questions continued to swirl around the decision, one thing remained certain. The conversation was no longer about whether Eala belonged among the sport's rising stars. The conversation had shifted to what move she would make next. And that is often the clearest sign that an athlete has